Views expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of WPSL. However, we are the ones that encourage you to like and share them on social media and with all of your friends, because when it comes to events on the Treasure Coast, it's the Sue Ellen Sanders Show on the weekends. So here's the host right now with a show ready to go. Here's Sue Ellen Sanders.
Welcome to the Sue Ellen Sanders Show, and I'm so glad you're here. We're talking about one of my favorite subjects. Oh, what the heck. Every subject right now is kind of my favorite subject. You get to a time in your life where you just get so excited about positive things, especially when, we're going tail end of a pandemic. We're dealing with, unrest and war in another country. There's a lot of negativity that's flying about. And this organization, St Lucie Habitat for Humanity, is all positive all the time. Everything is wonderful. And I have with me Erin Reedy, who's the development coordinator, and Donna Ashman, who is the program director for our St Lucie Habitat. And we're going to talk about the mission of Habitat and what they've accomplished. And of course, we'll talk about the resale store too. Resale store. I guess restore would be abbreviation of resale store, right?
That's right.
I just got it after all these years. We'll talk also about events that are coming up that you could play a part of. We'll talk about the other ways that you can either help by raising funds, be part of their volunteer corps, or just come out and help build as we move on through the show. But welcome, Donna and Erin. We're glad you're here.
Thank you very much. We're happy to be here.
Thanks, Sue Ellen. Thanks for having us.
And Donna has been on the show before, and we've talked a lot about the mission of St Lucie Habitat for Humanity. Now, there's Habitat for Humanities. That's not right. There's organizations that are Habitat for Humanities all over the world. The
Yes.
world or the U.S.?
The world.
The world.
We're in 40 countries.
40 countries.
Yes.
So in 40 countries, does the mission always look the same?
No, not at all. In fact, in a lot of the countries that are a lot of other countries other than the United States, sometimes they don't build homes. They just need help with maybe water filtration or latrines. They don't have safe places to do things that people need safe places to do. So
the habitat could vary.
So absolutely,
Yeah.
it varies. Sometimes it's just projects instead of building new homes. Mm-hmm.
But here in the U.S., Habitat for Humanity has kind of been known for building homes and offering assistance to those who can't otherwise have a home to get into their first home, or to lately I know you've done here at the St Lucie Habitat partnerships with different organizations, including the Veterans Organization. So we'll get to talk about all of that, and I'm so excited. How is St Lucie Habitat different from the other habitats?
In the area or just
No,
in general?
In general.
Well, most.
What makes you guys the best?
Oh, well, I don't know. I think our staff really,
Okay,
and our
you do.
volunteers,
Yes,
our
yeah.
donors, everything. We just have a very robust program for such a small affiliate.
Mm-hmm.
We have people calling us on a daily basis. I want to volunteer. I want to become a Habitat homeowner. There's just so many people that want to be involved in our organization.
And, your team is truly a team. I know that everybody, has a role, but then they all get together and help each other out too, along with your volunteers.
There's not much that we won't do to help each other out. That's exactly right. If somebody calls from our staff and says, we need help doing this, then we're definitely there to help each other. We're a very tight-knit staff.
I agree. I agree with everything that Donna has said. I can point out an example. Back in December, we had a large event, over 100 guests, raised over $250,000, and every staff member was all hands on deck, doing anything that they needed to do that day that was going to make a successful event. So we do have a great team.
Part of it is the people, I'm sure, and part of it is the excellence of the mission, and to be able to. One of the things that I love about Habitat is you get to meet the people you're helping.
Yes. When volunteers and donors come out to our job sites, especially, that's really the most fun volunteering opportunity. So when they come out, we try and make sure that some of our homeowners are available, and I tell them when they join our program, when they sign that contract that says I am now a Habitat homeowner in process, we call them HIPs, homeowners in process. When they sign that contract, I tell them, you are the star. When you come out to the job site, everybody wants to know you. They want to know about you. You will be bombarded with questions, and just be prepared for it. And it's just a beautiful relationship that they build with people in the community because of that.
One of my favorite parts is hearing the kids that are the homeowners in progress family, and the excitement and the fact that they have to, when they sign that contract, they have to put in their sweat equity too.
That's right. And the kids, if they're too young to be on the construction site, because we do have to abide by our insurance and safety rules, they can contribute their hours by having good grades. That's part of the contribution that they can give to
How cool is that?
Their hours, right?
That's awesome. And especially useful to their parents, to just like, hey, this is your part, honey. You got to do your part too.
That's exactly
awesome.
right.
So, so basically, the mission of our St. Lucie Habitat is, how would you describe it?
The mission, Erin, why don't you take that?
Okay.
Yeah, so the mission of St. Lucie Habitat for Humanity is to bring people together to build homes, communities, and hope here in St. Lucie County.
And as well, you've done, how many homes have you built in the years that you've been here?
We just passed our 25th anniversary, and we've done 83 homes, and that's rehabbed during the foreclosure crisis. When we had that, we were able to pick up some foreclosures and rehab those homes, or newly built, which is what we're doing right now. So we've done 83, but we also have a repair program that we just instituted about 3 years ago. And we've been able to help people in the community by doing major repairs, critical repairs to their homes, and we've done almost 150 of those in that 3 years.
Wow. And especially as it becomes at less land that's available to build new homes, to be able to rehab homes that are already built is really important. There's a lot of really good bones.
Yes.
Structures.
In fact, we just got an email from a realtor, and she was trying to find out there's a home that's close to our office, and she reached out to us saying, do you know anything about this home? And Bob said, no, but if it's available, we'll take it.
Bob is our executive director.
Yes. and Bob is, he never will turn down an opportunity to find a home or a land or house or remodel to make a difference. And he's been in place now for maybe 10 years?
It's close to 10 years, but he's been with Habitat for over 25 years. I'm thinking it's closer to 30 at this point.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So who has the seniority in the office? Is that you, Donna?
Under Bob, yeah. In the office. So the Restore, our two managers at the Restore, our director and one of our managers actually, they're a year ahead of me, but I've been there for 5 years.
So, and I'm kind of skipping around here, and if you're listening, I apologize, but basically everybody knows the basic mission of Habitat, because in the different habitat organizations in the United States, they're similar, and there are so many different ways to get volunteer groups together. It could be your church organization or your student organization or your club that comes together to build a house. And I'm telling you, there's no better bonding experience than to work on a construction together.
That's exactly right. And we just have so many great groups that come out. The last group, I believe, was Cleveland Clinic. Is that right? And then we have a sorority coming up probably next month that's going to be working with us.
If you belong to a group and you're interested in doing this, what are the particulars? How can you get to be in charge of a build or have a build?
I think the first thing that would be important in that is to talk to Melissa Winstead, our development director, and then she and Amanda, Amanda Clothier is our volunteer coordinator, and they work together to figure out what the schedule is. But Melissa's the first person to talk to.
If you want to have your group be in charge of a build, do you also have to sponsor the build, or can you do it without?
Well, we do ask for some kind of a contribution. Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So you
and
got
that
to be
varies.
prepared. Yes. Yeah. But you're flexible.
Sure. Absolutely, we are.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's what I love about you guys. So you have coming up, and right around the corner, you have the playhouse build.
Yes, that's
which
correct.
I know Erin's going to tell us more about it. That's coming up on March 25th and 26th, correct?
Yes, this is our first ever playhouse build with St. Lucie Habitat for Humanity. So we're really excited, and we've had some really awesome support from the community. And I'm really happy to talk about it today.
Great. So tell me, what is a playhouse build, and are you building multiple playhouses?
Yes, there will be multiple. Our playhouse build is meant to honor our local heroes in our community, so our first responders and veterans. And what we've done is we've gotten 5 different families, one from the St. Lucie County Sheriff's Office, one from Fort Pierce Police Department, one from the Port St. Lucie Police Department, and one from the St. Lucie County Fire District, and then one more that is a veterans family that we found through the Port St. Lucie Businesswomen. And we've gotten 5 sponsors who are going to go out to Clover Park on March 25th to build playhouses for the children of these local first responders and veterans.
So they're building 5 different playhouses.
Yes, and they're going to be customized.
I was
so-
going to ask, are they all going to look alike? Are they all going to be cookie cutter? Or
No, they're all going to be completely unique. We talked to the families and we found out what the kids are interested in. So, a little sneak peek, there's going to be one that is going to look like a castle. There's going to be one that's going to look like the barn from Toy Story. And another one is actually for the family of the St. Lucie County Fire District. And that one is going to look like a fire station.
how much fun is that? This is just like one of those build TV shows that you watch that, when you turn it on an HGTV and you get sucked in and you end up watching for 2 hours when you really only had 20 minutes. And then they throw in the cute little playhouse that's designed just for the family. Well, you're going to do this times 5, and you're going to do it on March 25th and 26th.
Yes, so the build is all going to happen on the 25th. We actually got the Port St. Lucie High School Skilled Trades program to pre-cut all of our materials and prime them. So they'll be at Clover Park ready to put together. We have crew leaders from the Treasure Coast Builders Association who are going to direct the teams into building the construction of these playhouses. And then they're going to have time to decorate and design them. So
Decorate and design. I'm so excited. These are going to be like crazy dream houses for those kids.
they're going to be really spectacular, and on the 26th is when we're going to be presenting them to the families. So this is the first time that the sponsors who have built these at that point are going to be meeting the children who dreamed up these houses. So it's going to be a really wonderful time, and we're inviting everyone to come out and join us. It's 11:30 on Saturday, March 26th at Clover Park in Port St. Lucie.
You can come out for the presentation of the playhouses. You know, as you mentioned, Port St. Lucie High School had pre-cut pieces, but there had to be a lot of more work that went into it before they start building on the 25th and 26th, because even though the families and the kids of the families helped come up with the concept, somebody had to draw out the plans.
Yeah, and we are really thankful to our partners at the Treasure Coast Builders Association for spending a morning to figure out how to build a playhouse and what the best way to get all of those materials together. special shout out to Maddie Williams, the president of Treasure Coast Builders Association, and also our project manager, who is kindly volunteering his time, is Bob Sank with Homecrete Homes. He's done an absolutely wonderful job of really bringing the community together to help make this project a reality. Like I said, PSL High School is helping cut the supplies, but Builders First Source has donated the supplies, and Texas Roadhouse is donating lunch that day. We just have a really great community here who want to get involved and want to, at the end of the day, honor our local first responders and veterans.
And, you talked about that each of the playhouses will look a little bit different, but the important thing is that that Treasure Coast Builders has had a hand in the planning of it, so they're going to probably be hurricane ready.
Yes, they're going to be sturdy structures.
Yes, they're going to be extremely. As you discuss, we're talking about this, I'm picturing the tree house that my children and my husband built in the far part of our backyard, and actually it did withstand the 2004 hurricanes, but barely. But we got most of the supplies from your restore. All the supplies, like the windows and the doors and everything went in there, and it was so much fun putting it together and planning it and painting it. And these playhouses, are going to be a gathering place for not just the kids of the families, but probably the neighborhood kids as well. It'll be so much fun for them, and I'm sure we'll see lots of great pictures.
Oh, definitely. We're going to post it all over our Facebook and Instagram, so don't forget to check that out.
And, along with building it, you talked about decorating and painting, and because, you can't just put wood together to make it look like a castle. There's a whole lot more that goes into it.
Yes, so that is our sponsor, Arcade Davis Construction Corporation.
Yay! He's right across the street.
That's
right.
right.
Right in the neighborhood.
From here at the radio station. Yeah.
And they are already working on their playhouse, so they're building some extra pieces to put on top of it to make it look more like a castle. So when I tell you that everyone is so excited about this, I mean that they got started a month early for this build.
They're thrilled, I'm sure. So your 5 different houses go to 5 different law enforcement or firefighter or veteran families. Do you have 5 different sponsors, and do you have 5 different teams?
Yeah, so right now we are actually at 4 sponsors, so we are still looking for our 5th. So if there's anyone out there interested in getting connected and getting involved in our community some more, honoring our local first responders and veterans, it would actually be for our Port St. Lucie Police Department. That's the family that you would be building for.
So what are you looking for in a sponsor?
So a sponsorship is going to include a $10,000 monetary contribution, and it's going to be a team of 5 that's going to come out on March 25th to build and decorate these playhouses.
Do they have to have construction knowledge?
Not at all. We don't require any of our volunteers to have construction knowledge. We
Ever.
Ever, exactly.
Yeah, I know. I'm a past volunteer. And I had never used a drill before, and it was so much fun.
It's empowering, isn't it?
Yeah, it is totally empowering.
We hear that so often, that people come and they're a little skittish at first.
Yeah.
And just a quick story, when we had our women build a couple of years ago, there was a woman that came and she was just terrified. She just wanted to sweep the floor. She was like, I can't get near those power tools. And we were building interior walls. So you had to use power tools. And she was probably, I'm going to say she may have been 90 pounds. She was tiny. And our construction supervisor said, no, I'm going to help you with this. And he got that nail gun in her hand, and she did not want to give it up. she didn't want to share it at all when she had it in her hand. So it is very empowering and just a lot of fun.
And that you actually will be talking in a few minutes about your women's build that's coming up, and it's coming up in April. as well, but I was a part of several different women's build, and the first one that I did, I had never used a power tool at all, any type of tool, and the instructions that are given by the project supervisor are very specific, and they keep an eye on you, and they make sure that you're not like going down a dangerous or a road that is going to take more time to tear down.
Right.
But between the two different builds that I had worked on, there was a time where my husband, who is the school district's liaison with the emergency management for hurricanes, and it was the first time he spent the whole whatever hurricane weekend, whatever it was, and he'd put up, it was before we had shutters, and he'd put up the shutters, and then he didn't come back for several days, and as it turned out, the hurricane skated by and didn't affect us. But I had a house that was so dark and my husband couldn't come in to help. So I learned quickly that when you take the shutter down, that you don't take the screws off the top before you do the bottom. And you're smiling and you're laughing because you know what happened,
Yes.
right? I took the ones off the top and it flapped down and missed me by just inches. And these are things that it's good to be taught. It's good to have someone show you how to do it. And then by the time I got around to the back, I was a pro. I just felt, my husband and my son came over later and they said, "Here, let me help." "Nope, I got this. You just move them. I got this. I got it taken care of." Because it is very empowering and there's a lot of different skills. So I got off a little bit of a tangent over the excitement of using the power tools again. What else do we need to know before we move on to the women's build? What else do we need to know about the playhouse build?
I think that if anyone's interested, they should just come out on the 26th and be a part of the presentation. And if anyone's interested in getting a hands-on participation role, contact myself or Melissa Winstead at St Lucie Habitat for Humanity to see if you could be one of our sponsors.
So you're still looking for that fifth sponsor, and you have to have a team of 5, and your business needs to support to the tune of $10,000, which is totally manageable. But then you get all this recognition and thanks, and your playhouse is going to Port St. Lucie Police Department, one of the families there. So really excited about seeing the pictures, or if you want to, like Habitat for Humanity on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on Twitter.
We're not on Twitter.
Oh, you're not on Twitter? I don't do Twitter a lot either.
And we have a newsletter too.
Oh, and the newsletter. So you can see all, and I do get the newsletter. So there's a lot of ways you can stay in touch and find out what Habitat is up to by, liking any of their social media channels or signing up for their newsletter. And you can do that through the website, which is
stluciehabitat.org.
so easy to remember.
Very easy.
Yeah. And then, of course, looking for the sponsor for that 5th Playhouse. And the families are going to be there as part of the presentation on March 26th, too. So is there going to be like a big unveiling when the kids get to see what it looks like?
Yeah, right now, presentation day, it's a little bit of a surprise.
Okay.
But it's going to be a really awesome event.
It's so exciting. So the other thing that's coming up is I mentioned another women's build. You want to tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so this is our annual women's build. This year we are going to have it around Mother's Day, which is in May. So it's going to start at the end of April and go through the beginning of June. And what we're doing is we're getting groups of women together to come out to our job site and to help build one of our Habitat homes. This year we actually have 8 homes in progress, so we need a lot of help. Last year we had 10 teams, and this year we're looking for 20. So it's really awesome. We're going to have 5 women per team, and they're going to also compete in a fundraising competition. So whoever is the winner of that competition has raised the most by the end of the entire event gets the Golden Hammer Award. Last year it was Coastal Florida REIA. They raised over $3,000, so they're going to be a tough one to beat.
How did they raise the money? Any way they want to?
Yeah, and
They could have like a bake sale, or
yeah, I love to see how they get creative with
Yeah.
it, and we can definitely support their efforts with a text to give platform and with online donation forms. Some people also used Facebook, and they created a donation page through Facebook, sent it out to all their friends. So there's definitely a lot of ways to get creative with this.
It's in addition to the opportunity for the women's build, then you also are able to raise funds, because people with hammers and power tools alone are not going to, be everything that Habitat needs. You need to have the funds. You have a lot of things. I know you're blessed to have so many partners, Donna, but there are a lot of things that you have to pay for.
That's exactly right. And right now the cost of construction has gone up. It's gone exponentially up. So, and on top of that, just to put it into perspective, what Erin was saying, we're planning on building 8 homes this year. Typically we build 3. So we have become super busy, which is a really good thing, and we're hoping to just keep growing and growing and growing.
Where do you get the land for the homes that you build? Does it vary?
It does vary. Sometimes we purchase if we can get them at a good price. Sometimes they're donated through individuals, and a lot of times they're donated from the municipalities.
So 8 different homes and the women's build teams will be working on some of them, or all
Some
of
of
them?
them.
Okay.
Right. They're not all at the same stage of construction, so some of them have just been cleared and we have not started building on those. Some of them we still need to finish the permitting. There's a lot to it. It's a very complicated process, and so we don't really have volunteers starting until the walls are up, until the exterior walls are up.
Does part of your team handle, are they like the permitting guru? So you have people that are going out and doing all that prep work?
Amanda, who does the volunteers, that's also one of her duties. So she's also very busy. We have our hands in multiple things at the same time. So, we have to learn to multitask.
It's important, but also as you're multitasking, all the tasks are so very important that you literally can't drop the ball on any of them. So that's why
right.
it's important to have such a supportive team.
Exactly. And it's hard to make sure that we are coming together at the same time to make sure that the process is smooth, but somehow we do it. So I'm not sure sometimes how that happens, but it does happen.
All of the 8 families that are going to be getting new homes this year, they've already been selected?
They have. Yes.
So tell us how a family goes about getting considered.
We do not have to do any promotion or marketing to try and find our families, because I'm the person who handles that, and I probably get 20 phone calls a week from individuals that are looking for home ownership opportunities. So one of the things that we require is that you become good partners. So I just, the first thing on their task list is to just keep watching to make sure that they know when our process opens. We open for 2 weeks at a time, our application process, and since we are a lender, just like any other lender, we require all kinds of financial underwriting, and so they have to provide a lot of information, and it's not an easy thing to go through. Once they have been approved, sometimes we have more families that are qualified than we have homes that are available. So we have a committee, and it's an all volunteer committee that makes that selection, that gets presented to the board. And so they look at the need, and they look at the families, they figure out what family has the most need, and that's how the families are selected.
If you have families that have qualified but they aren't able to get a home yet, do you have any type of support that you can give them, or resources that you can share with them to make sure they're staying safe and well and together until they're able to get a house?
Yes, and it's very difficult because we are the only organization like ourselves in this area. So, but we do try and connect them with as many organizations that can be helpful to them as possible. I always feel like I have not done my job if I leave a phone call and just say there's nothing I can do for you. So I may spend 45 minutes to an hour with somebody on the phone because I think it's important to give them the support that they need to find supportive organizations. And it may not just be housing. They probably, if they're looking for housing, they have other needs as well.
Right. And, we have so many wonderful organizations in St. Lucie County and on the Treasure Coast.
We do.
And there, a lot of them offer services through umbrella organizations like the United Way and Children's Services Council. But we've got Treasure Coast Food Bank, we've got Mustard Seed,
United Against Poverty.
United Against Poverty.
Yes, and we try to partner with as many as possible. And the Council on Social Agencies, a lot of times they will come to the meetings and tell us, hey, we have this funding at this time, which is very helpful to me too. So a lot of organizations at certain times have funding for mortgage assistance or rental assistance, and especially in this time during the pandemic, a lot of money has been flowing down to them so that they can help more people stay in their homes.
Donna, the most important question is, how do you sleep at night? Because you're the point person.
Yeah.
You are the one who's getting those 20 phone calls a week. You, if anybody, knows the need that's out there.
When I first joined Habitat, Bob said to me, we will do as much as we possibly can, but we cannot help everyone. So my goal is to try and give them information to help themselves if I possibly can. I don't want anyone, it makes me feel so bad when I leave a phone call and I don't feel like I gave them at least something that could help them. It is difficult. It's very difficult at times.
The family that will have the most opportunity once your qualifying period opens, once your application period opens, is a family that is already familiar with Habitat and the what they're going to need to submit. Is that correct?
Yes, I have a series of videos that I put up on our website right before that tells them everything that we are requiring for them to submit with it. We also have a checklist, and that checklist is it's really comprehensive, so it tells them exactly what we need. Now, I'm not saying that the packets come in perfectly because they don't, but that's okay because this is something that they've never done before. It's all new to them. So, and I totally understand that. So we work with them until we get everything that we need.
And you're not the person that's going to say, I'm sorry, you're missing this out of your packet. We're not even going to look at it.
Oh, no.
You're just going to call them.
Once that application is open, then we just keep it open. And, there are times when I have to send a letter and just say, okay, if I don't have this by a certain date, then we'll close your file. But in most cases, they come in. I had a couple that really, they didn't understand the process at all. And so I sat with them for an hour during our last application process and just went through things like they may not even know what exactly or how to calculate out what their monthly income is, or maybe if they know their monthly income, they don't know how to calculate that into their annual income. So I will sit down with them, and our committee members will as well, to try and teach them, because the more they know, maybe they won't make it this time. And that's another thing that I say to them all the time is, it'll be disappointing if you don't make it through this time, but there is next time, or there's the next time, and maybe it's just not the right time for whatever reason. So just keep trying, and not with us, try with somebody else.
And the hope that you offer is always so important, to hear from somebody else that there's hope for them. How many times a year does the application process open?
It varies. It depends on how many properties we have ready to go into our building cycle and how many we have funded. So because we're a mortgage lender, we have to make sure that we abide by the federal mortgage guidelines. And so we can't just keep things open and keep people suspended through the program. Our program, because we have a lot of different requirements, it's not just like you go into a bank and you say, I'd like to buy a house, and they either approve you or don't approve you. If they approve you with a bank, it's usually 30 to 60 days when you get into your house. With us, it takes about 6 months to 2 years, depending on how fast they go through the program and how fast we can build. So it takes a big commitment.
Yeah, no, it does. But it's important to be familiar, like I said, with Habitat, and check out those videos if you know a family or individuals that may be qualified for the future and they're interested to check it out on the website. And that's Habitat, St Lucie Habitat.
.org.
Yeah.
I don't have the videos up yet, but I will have them prior to the next application cycle, which we're
Okay.
hoping to do in the second quarter.
Okay, all right, so soon.
Right.
Yeah, watch
And
for them
the
soon.
other thing while we're on this subject is we've developed a new process which we're going to be putting into place with the next closing, where the properties are now going to be in a CLT program or a community land trust program, which means that we will retain ownership of the property and then they will have ownership of the home. So they'll be paying us a monthly stipend of, we think, between $25 and $40 a month to rent that land or lease that land. And that way, when that property is sold to the next homeowner, it will stay in the affordability program. So they can only sell it to somebody that's in the same situation that they're in, where they need an affordable home.
Which is really important when you see what the price of some homes are going for.
Right.
So to keep affordable homes.
We need to
Be
do a better
affordable.
job and be better stewards in our community to have that affordable home
Yeah.
ownership opportunity. But the other thing is also because we retain value, or the land, they're not paying for that land. So the way that our properties are sold is we have a third-party appraiser go out, appraise the property, and then that's what we sell the property for, whatever they tell us the appraisal worth is. But now we'll subtract the land cost from that, so it'll be more affordable for them.
And so it's kind of going to be like an RV park where you're just reselling the RV
Yes.
instead of the land.
It's exactly
underneath
the
it.
same premise. It's just that they're doing it for profit. We're doing it for not for profit. So our leases are a lot lower.
Yes. Yeah, I'm sure they are. So we haven't had an opportunity to talk about the restores yet, and I know at the beginning of the pandemic they were shut down with a lot of other retail, but now everything is up and running again.
It is. Erin, were you here at the beginning of that? You were not. Okay, so I believe we were only closed for maybe 2 months at the most. And during that time they actually did renovations and all kinds of things that we were able to keep our staff completely employed. Half of them stayed in the restore, half of them went to the job sites to do things because we didn't have volunteers at that time. So we kept everyone employed, which was an amazing feat during that first part of the pandemic.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Right? And we got busier, so
I-
imagine that.
I'm sure. So, what are the type of things? Now, I know the Fort Pierce restore and the Port St Lucie restore really, they each have their own type of things that you could look for if you're renovating your home, both restores will take your donations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they take, they kind of, I'm not even, I really don't know exactly how they decide where the products go, but both of them have most of the same things in them. It's just a matter of going to see what suits your needs.
I seem to remember seeing more building supplies in the Fort Pierce restore.
That is true, and that's because of the property itself. We're in Port St Lucie. We're in a strip mall,
Right.
and in Fort Pierce we have a big piece of property, so they're able to store a lot more there. And we have a big Quonset hut that they can store a lot of materials and things in.
Well, that makes sense. And I know going through the Port St Lucie Restore, there's a whole lot of furniture too that people can purchase, and some of it is really in excellent shape.
I have a $25 couch that I have in my office that I absolutely love that came from the Restore.
So you can get both. You can donate things, like say for example you want to change out your kitchen cabinets or your bathroom, or you could take, even if you're paying a company to do that for you, you can tell them you want them to take the old stuff and donate it to the Restore.
Sure, and we also do demolition work. Where
you do?
Deconstruction, yes.
Oh.
So our Restore director will meet with someone if we had a house on Hutchinson Island where it was a tear down. They were going to tear it down and then build a new house. And he was able to go out, and she said, you can take anything you want. So we were there for, I think, 3 days, taking bamboo flooring, and there was a staircase, and there were cabinets, and there were countertops, all the plumbing, anything that we could take that was in good condition, we took. And it was great because then that doesn't end up in the landfill, and somebody else can get just as much enjoyment out of it.
So it's a win-win. And when I tell you that some of the stuff that we used on the treehouse was in perfect condition, windows and doors and lumber and facilities, and if you are not just donating your material, but if you're looking for some ideas, sometimes people renovate their home not because it's worn out, but just because they're looking for something different. And so there's something different might lend itself to giving you something that's in really good shape for a very low cost.
Exactly. That's right. Most of the things in our Restore look like they're brand new. It's amazing. The people and the generosity of the community that donates to us. I mean, we're just very, very inspired by their generosity. And because of the generosity of the public and people coming in and using our Restores and buying products, we were able to use those funds to build 2 of our houses last year.
I was just going to ask, how much money do you actually make from the Restores?
Yeah.
But enough to build 2 complete houses. Wow, that's a lot. So what are the other things that you have on your plate for, this spring, summer, Erin? What else are you, because come after the women's build by Mother's Day, you're gonna have all this free time.
No, we usually don't have free time. We have a pretty packed schedule this year. So like I said, we have the playhouse build in March. The women build is going to be in late spring, and then we're going into our apostles build. So that is being chaired by one of our new board members, Terry Branch, and what we're doing is we're trying to get a group of 12 or maybe a different number of faith groups in our area to come together and to help raise the funds and put in the work to build a Habitat home together. So that is going to be in fall, and then we're having our 2nd annual Home for the Holidays celebration, and that's going to be in December. I mentioned it earlier in our chat that it was a big success last year. And
you said 250,000. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Whoa.
Yeah. So we're looking forward to having another great celebration at Treasure Coast Lexus. Like we did last year, we had our Habitat families there. Homeowners in process were there with their kids, so everyone who attended was able to meet the families that we partner with, and it was a really beautiful event. It was
a great event, and Erin did most of the work, I have to say. We did,
and that was right
whatever
after
she
you
told us to
started,
do,
too.
we did.
Yeah.
Yes, it was great. And the other thing is that we were talking about collaborating and partnership. Well, Lexus is the corporate partner for that event, but we also had the Treasure Coast Food Bank supply the food for us. So we had a nonprofit collaboration as well.
When you say Treasure Coast Food Bank supplying the food, for people who aren't aware, Treasure Coast Food Bank has a culinary program.
Yes.
They're not just, when you're saying supplying the food, they just didn't just open cans and put them out
and
for
it was,
people.
the food was fabulous. It was so good. It was great. Chef Leslie was there and in charge, and he had, I don't know how many of his students were there working, but they did a great job. It was really, really good.
Yeah, and that's called the Healthy Harvest Catering.
Thank you.
Of course, Chef Leslie did a wonderful job, and that was an amazing partnership. We love when we get to work more with the nonprofits in our area.
Yeah. What are some of the other partnerships that you've been blessed with over the years?
One that is kind of new, that is United Against Poverty, that when we start doing orientations for the application process, they have said that they'd like to donate their space to us. So we'll be going into their space, and then we can also collaborate with the programs that they have, like the Step Up program. And we use the extension office. I actually, for my committee, I have Carol Roberts, who's with the extension office, and she does budgeting classes for us. She actually does one-on-one budgeting with all of the families to make sure that they have their finances and all of their ducks in a row before the closing, before they have to go into their home, because there's a lot of things that go on with home ownership that they've never had to do before. So yeah, we just have all kinds of partnerships. Mustard Seed.
And as far as doing the due diligence with your families and making sure that they know how to budget before they get started, are there any families that it just doesn't work for, that they end up having to leave?
Since I've been in Habitat for 5 years, we've had one family that has decided to deselect themselves from the program, but it was because it was a single mom and she was getting married.
Oh,
And
so it was for a wonderful
it was for a
reason.
really great
Yeah.
reason,
Yeah.
absolutely. And so we were just able to move another family into the home, and yeah, I mean, we were happy. She sent me wedding pictures afterwards, and it was just great. And I just, you know, lifting up is what we do. We want people to be better, financially and otherwise. So yeah, that was a really great thing. So it's rare. And you know, people go through hard times. So we always tell them, you know, come to us when you have problems, because we'll be able to. We're not like your traditional lender. We can work with you if you're having issues, as we all do. So, you know, we have people that call us and say, hey, I'm just having a hard time, and we will work through it and try and figure it out. We will foreclose if we have to. We've only had to do one in 25 years because we are able to work with our families.
What a great percentage, though. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is. So to sum it all up, if people want to be a part of the Habitat experience, what are the ways that they can volunteer?
Volunteering, they can obviously go out to the construction site. They can work in the restores. We sometimes have people doing office work. What are some of the other things?
And you have a volunteer director who they need to contact. Can they contact her?
Yes, Amanda Clothier, and they can contact her through the website on the volunteer page, or volunteer at stluciehabitat.org.
All right.
Yes.
And then you also use volunteers, I'm sure, Erin, for your fundraising events too.
Yeah, we had some wonderful volunteers who are helping us out at our big event in December. So we definitely, you know, we're a small but mighty team at St Lucie Habitat for Humanity, so volunteers are a really important part of our organization.
And I forgot to mention, too, our board of directors is completely volunteer, and so is my committee, the homeowner selection committee.
I was
is
just
all
going to ask
volunteer.
about that. So you had mentioned that the homeowners selection committee is completely volunteer, and so there's nobody who has an agenda, a hidden agenda, because
No.
they're all in it
No.
to make life better for other people.
Absolutely. I have a really great crew. They are just amazing. And, you know, we have people that have taken classes so that they can do the underwriting with us. There are people that go out to do home visits when it's time in the process to find out how our families are living currently, because that's part of it. The need is a big part of
So
what
you have
we're
follow-up too. You have
We do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's important because that way you can head off any issues before they become so
Right.
serious that you can't help it. Do you do follow up with the kids too? I mean, you talked about that. To get in the house, they have to. Some of them, for the younger children, they have to get good grades. That was their
Right. We don't at this time, but that is something that we are trying to incorporate as a post-purchase program, so that we can do things like events to get the families together, because I think the support of other families is really important. And then maybe just have a tool share program, have classes that they can go to, just
so
all kinds
some of the
different
things in the future that
Yes.
that people can work on. On your website, also, do you have the stories of some of your families that received?
We
Houses?
have undergone a big change for our website recently, and that is one of the last things that we are
Okay.
working on adding to it, because I do think that that is such an important thing for people
Yeah,
to
that would be
read.
fun. I mean, that was like, I'm not like trying to put extra work on you or anything. It just, I would like to read about it too. And of course, you have the things that are coming up, and these 8 houses that are being built over the next year, that those will be your most recent stories. You also have the playhouses that are coming up, and people can come and out on March 26th at your ceremony. Did you say noon?
11:30.
11:30. So don't go at noon, because then you'll miss it. It'll probably still be going on. And that's at Clover Park. So you can go there and watch the presentation of the 5 different playhouses. And then, of course, as you mentioned, you're still looking for a sponsor for one of the playhouses. So people can get in touch with you, Erin, if
Yeah, if you want to get in touch with me, our phone number is 772-464-1117, and I'm extension 121. Or easy, I'm Erin, ERIN, at stluciehabitat.org.
That's great. And so my guests today have been Erin, ERIN, at stluciehabitat.org, and she's Erin Reedy. She is the development coordinator for St Lucie Habitat, along with Donna Ashman. And people can get in touch with you. Is it Donna Lee
Yes.
at
stluciehabitat.org.
And you can go to their website again, stluciehabitat.org. Check them out on social media. Lots of good stuff on their website and on their different social media. It's been my pleasure to have Donna and Erin here as my guests, and good luck with all the special events that are coming up. Thanks for joining me today for the Sue Ellen Sanders Show. We're here every week with more.
With archives on YouTube, go to WPSLTV.com for more.